everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Shoe Podcast, the only sneaker podcast with more letters in its name than Applebee's. Go ahead and count them. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry.
I'm your not great mathematician, co-host Tanner Young.
Yeah, and for all of you joining us, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening through your favorite podcast provider, please do us a quick favor. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Greatly helps a small little channel like ours. Feeds the algorithm, gets us going. It's good to be back. We took last week off. I did a little unboxing video on the Air Max 1 Big Bubbles, but it's so much nicer to be talking to you than like the deep black abyss of my camera, I will say.
Well, you know, one gives and one takes.
One, exactly. Yeah. Which
Go.
one are you?
That's for the fans to decide.
And that's for y'all to decide out there in the comments. How are you doing? It's kind of a dry month for sneaker releases, I would say, but there's enough news going around for us to talk.
Yeah, April showers is not hidden in the sneaker world.
Rob Barillo, where are you? The Doppler forecast
forecast
was a lie. Exactly. But
absolutely.
In the words of Lil Wayne, we are here to make it rain.
Oh, okay. In the
When
words
the weather
of
itself ain't
Rihanna, I'm under my umbrella, Ella.
Hey.
All right.
We got a fun couple little topics lined up for today. I love our banter. Our banter is unparalleled, and it's adorable.
The only thing unplanned.
Yeah, it really is the banter. Everything else is down to a T. All the timing of every joke, calculated.
And there you go. Read the Google Doc and laugh.
Stop scrolling. Thank you. Couple fun topics lined up for today. We're going to talk about the first leaks of the next Union and Jordan Brand collab. Also talking about the leaks of the rumored reimagined Bred Jordan 4 that's probably like a whole year out. And then we're going to talk about your tech bros' favorite topic, NFTs, sneaker NFTs.
Hey, is it a scam? Yes.
Is it a scam? Stay tuned. Or actually, yes. So even though, you know, it's we're not talking about releases, a lot of Nike talk today. It just happens to be dominating the news cycle this week. What are you going to do?
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of what they do really well.
Yeah, they kind of got a grip on that whole thing right now, I would say.
Yeah.
Speaking of
marketing.
Should we go ahead and get into it?
Let's dive in.
First one we got lined up for today. This is it. If you haven't seen it yet, look at his face. It tells you everything you need to know. The first in-hand leak we're getting at the upcoming Union and Jordan 1. I think the first collab they did on the Jordan 1 was all the way back in 2018. For those of you, how could you forget, where they did the mismatched upper on like the collar ankle of it with the different bottom.
Oh, yeah. So
took
good.
off. Hits. Classics,
so
as a lot of people called it. They did that. They went on to do the Jordan 4 pack, you know, the guava, the noir, and then they had the two that I kind of think look a little ACG color-esque inspired.
The twos?
No, the fours. The fours. The taupe haze, and then
especially like the noir one. I see that one big time, yeah.
Yeah. So they did those, and then you had the passport pack on the dunks, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Mixed feelings. That was cool. Mixed feelings, the plastic lining. And then most recently, wow, time is a mystery. It was either earlier this year or late last, the AJ1 KO lows that they did. Not just Air Jordan 1 lows.
Wow, I forgot about that.
AJ1 KO lows. There was one that was like canvas and one that was leather. And so this is the next thing that we're getting from it. Yep, that silence spoke for itself there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It feels like it's like a baseball glove. That's like the first thing. The first thing when I saw this, I was like, baseball glove? But then I was like, all white, and I'm like, it's not really a baseball glove.
So that stitching that you're seeing there is inspired by another Nike silhouette, the Air Footscape Woven, which is like, those used to be a pretty popular, popular in like the hype beast kind of like sneakerhead world. I think it was not like your everyday man's shoe, but it had that like woven stitching on the side of it there. We're talking pre 2018. We're talking maybe back in like 2015 or sometime around then. So they're kind of bringing that design language to the Jordan 1. But yeah, not for you. Other details on it, we'll go through. We got a couple of images here. You can see from the top down that kind of woven pattern goes all the way around the shoe. It's not just on one side of it. Coming with, this was a similar. Oh, I forgot. I left out the Jordan 2s. Sorry, you mentioned them. I completely missed that you were talking about them. The
Gotcha.
Rattans and the, was it like a work blue?
I think so.
It was those two that came out. This colorway, that's what just made me think of it, reminds me of the Rattan Jordan 2s that they had, that kind of like whitish creamish with the little accents of yellow there.
Yeah.
And then possibly the weirdest detail about these is that on the back of the shoe, you have stitched into the little panel there, and it does not look very well stitched, but it's stitched in there. BBS, which is what's his, Chris Gibbs from Union. I don't know his role there, if he's one of the co-owners or something, but his wife has a beauty supply brand called Beffy's Beauty Supply Brand, and this is that. Why that's getting shouted out on a Union Jordan 1 collab, I'm really not too sure.
Hey, look, why not? You know, I mean, honestly, supportive husband. Supportive husband to be like, I mean, let's go ahead and just make a beauty supply, which maybe the woven, maybe that's more beauty supply. Maybe that she's got a drop coming. It's actually, it's another triple collab. This is another triple collab. For the OG fans, whenever we talked about the future, triple collabs was the future.
I either need to put the time into figuring out a filter that gives you a tinfoil hat, or I need you to just build one and have it on the side of your desk so that whenever the time comes,
I'll build a tinfoil. I'll build a tinfoil.
For the next episode,
I gotta make sure I build it with the
headphone mold in there. Yeah.
Because I've got almost everything. I've got a tinfoil hat for today.
You've got no shortage of tinfoil hats, I would say.
Yeah, no.
This man keeps lids in business with the tinfoil hats.
Just straight tinfoil hat. I got a New York Yankees.
He's got the tinfoil fitted.
Yeah. Where you at?
I like that. But yeah, going back, looking at the side of the shoe here, so I guess we could just talk about it a little bit more and figure out what there is to talk about. Do you feel like the Union collabs are falling off? Like, has it all 100%. Been all steady downhill since the Jordan 1s? Any little spikes?
I mean, you could say spikes. I don't think they've done better than the Jordan 1s. I think that was definitely the best, which is tough whenever your first shoe is that hype. Obviously, like, everyone's going to look into it. I think the 4s were pretty good. I kind of like the 4s. I like the tongue, stitched down. You could pop the stitching out, you get a bigger tongue. So I thought the 4s were cool. I think the 2s was less of Union and more of just Jordan Brand was like, we're pushing 2s, so you're doing a 2.
For sure. But I think they did a good job for it being a Jordan 2. Like, I picked up a pair. The Jordan 2 is like, however you feel about that silhouette, I don't think one collaboration is going to like put you on the other side of the fence. So as someone that's not a big fan of the 2, I will say that I liked what they did with the 2 so much that it made me kind of, I got them in hand. I was like, oh, this is cool. Again, did not keep them. Not going to sit here and pretend like this was my favorite thing ever. I wear them nonstop because I don't even have them anymore. But I still think it was a good execution. I think the silhouette was, what's the expression? Polishing a turd?
I think so. Yeah, I think that. I think that would be
shots fired.
Probably pretty perfect. I think they're, Union was definitely like, hey, there's 2 hype. We'll do 2 hype. We'll get in there. I mean, it's a Union collab. It's going to sell. Right. 2s were high, 2s were hot for a bit. They sold. It's definitely been kind of a decline. I liked the dunks. I would say probably maybe your take with the 2s is similar to my take with the dunks. I think there was a lot of people who were like, I'm not a big fan of the material, things like that. Yeah. I liked them just off rip, just from seeing them. Never picked up a pair.
The story behind them was the best,
Very cool. I liked the material. I liked the look of the shoe. Dunk Mania was still, in full swing.
More prevalent than ever.
So it's tough. I would say it has been a steady decline on quality, but also Union does a good job of catching the fire. Like I said, dunks were hot. You really can't say flash in the pan for dunks because of how long it's been. 2s, I would say, flash in the pan. 4 is just another good quality shoe. I think they did well with that. So, but I would say, yeah, it's hard to surpass the original colorways that they had done in the ones.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and then especially when you see this, it just seems kind of very plain.
It kind of, I mean, it is certainly in like the colorway. I'll give you that. But like, again, I always think of like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park of like, they were so preoccupied with whether or not they could. They didn't stop to think if they should. Shoes like this and the eBay Dunk, where I'm like, not the most wearable by any means, but like, I appreciate what you went for in like this type of constructing a shoe did not exist before. I mean, it did in a way on like the wovens that they're referencing here, but not with leather on a Jordan 1. I appreciate going out on the limb to be like, here's a totally new thing. And like, it's a cool nod to this other thing. But again, it's like, it's cool that you could do it. I don't know that like when you actually do it, I'm like, I want that,
Yeah. I think would have been cool to do almost like a Frankenstein type thing. I mean, you have this huge stitching.
Different on the upper, on the bottom?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. You've got this huge thing. Make it more a part of the shoe in the sense of like, yeah, we did this crazy kind of like mashing of two different, you've already done, I mean, you could say they already
that's my question. That. If they do that, do people call them a one-trick pony?
If you do it good, I don't care.
I like how you nominate yourself to have the voice of the internet, where you say, no. If you do it well, I will hold back the internet, and we'll vote that you've done it well.
Hey, no one, you would have murmurs of people if Jordan Brand was like, here's the Chicago's every year. They would sell out.
Yeah.
You'd have people be like, oh, Chicago's again? Yeah. And then they'd be like, yeah, we made 1,000 pairs. They sold out instantly. And we're going to keep on doing it.
And we'll see, though, because like literally in all the examples of the Union Nike collabs that we've given, there hasn't been just one colorway that comes out. It's a pack. There's multiple colorways. So what we're seeing here could very likely be just one of them. But I'm remembering now in, addition to the colorway the palette reminded me of the rattan Jordan ones, it's actually much more similar to the AJ1 KO packs that they just put out that were almost entirely like white and gray like this.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's kind of the palette they're working in right now.
Sure. And maybe, with it being leather, you buy the shoe, you get a palette, makeup palette with it. You can paint the shoe with the makeup.
That's true. Blank canvas.
Union, just send the check. Just send the check. We are
After
putting
we sat here and dogged on it for 5 minutes, I'm sure they're eager to work with us.
Look, here's the thing. We told you all the things that are bad with it, and then we gave you some great ideas to make it at least more interesting.
Down, we build you up.
Here's a white shoe with large stitching. Okay, cool.
He's not impressed. In the words of, is it Reba that don't impress me much? Shania Twain. Oh, boy. Just got my country card revoked on that one. Sorry, listeners.
One's American, one's Canadian. They're both on the same continent, though, so.
I actually didn't know that. We all fight for the same continent at the end of the day.
Look, when the continent wars start, you're going to want Canada.
I need you now more than ever to have that tinfoil hat off to the side. Okay, next episode. We'll link to the Patreon at the end of it if you feel generous enough to donate to the tinfoil fund.
Appreciate it.
Moving on. There it is. Next week, we want to talk about upcoming rumor on Nike doing a reimagined Bred Jordan 4. And we are far out here, people. The rumor is like March 2024, which normally I would not be that big of a fan of. Like, let's talk about something that's about a year out. But
yeah,
it's hot right now. The whole reimagined thing. They've been doing it for a little bit here. So their take on this one, though, at least in these are early mock-ups. These are not official images. And it's all just kind of hearsay. But the talk right now is that it's going to be leather on the uppers instead of that typical, it's kind of, I think it's like a very short suede is what they call it. It doesn't really feel like, it doesn't feel like suede in any way that you would expect it to.
No.
But if you have a pair of Jordan 4s, you know what we're talking about here. But true to the Bred Jordan 4, other than the leather, which means, you guessed it, folks, Nike Air on the heels. The only thing you need
Saved.
to know about the shoe.
Saved.
Saved. At the buzzer. At the buzzer, just came in and got it. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what actually materializes for these. But how do you feel about these coming out? I mean, it's also kind of like strange to think about because it has to be first or second episode of this podcast we did after we had both just picked up the Bred Jordan 4s, which would mean what? They just retroed in 2019 then.
Yeah, it was very short. It has not, which, I mean, is this a retro? Is this a reimagined? Does
right,
this
exactly.
fall into retro category because it's a different material? Who knows? I mean, I'm not a huge fan of like an all leather shoe, especially like, you know, especially again, this is just a mock-up, so who knows? But like, especially if it has that shine like that on it. Anytime I see like an all black, maybe it's because of like going to like a Catholic high school, it just reads school shoe to me.
It brings you back there.
Yeah. And I know that because this is leather and the Jordan Bred 4 does not give me that vibe. So maybe it's just the shiny leather shoe. Yeah. You know, that is give me that vibe. I'm not sure.
Here's the thing about all black shoes, and shout out to Sean. He's a photographer, a sneaker photographer out of New Orleans and listener of the podcast here. When the Salehi Bembury Crocs were coming out, and I was finally able to get my hands on a pair of the all black ones, the Sasquatch ones. He'd been trying to get his hands on a pair of any of the Salehi Bembury Crocs for a while as well. And I asked him, I was like, are you going for these? And he's like, no, because all black Crocs are kitchen staff shoes. And I was like, way to just take the wind right out of my sails. So anyway, I kind of unrelated, but you mentioned just the all black leather shoes. I'm like, I get that it's not for everyone for sure.
Yeah. So to me, I'd be like, just if you're hurting for a Bred 4, just get the one that, you know, the 2019 release, like Bred 4. I can't imagine that the resale on it's $700.
Oh, it's up there.
That's crazy.
Sorry. I don't mean up there as in it is $700, but it's definitely inflated. A, because right now more than ever, because 4s are hot right now. But B, it happened when The Last Dance came out, which feels like a lifetime ago.
Oh my God.
But when The Last Dance came out, Bred Jordan 4 shot through the roof, which made it all that much sweeter if you picked up a pair the year before in 2019. I can't see behind your noggin right now, but do you still have yours on your shelf back there? Okay, I see the little red toes poking out, second shelf.
There you go. Yep.
So, as someone that still has their pair, I ended up selling mine because I just didn't wear them that much. For me, it was I think I remember telling you at the time, normally for me, it was like, oh, if I'm going to wear a black and red Jordan, am I going to wear the black cement 3s or the Bred 4s? And I grabbed black cement 3s 9 out of 10 times.
That's a good point. I feel that they give enough difference for me in an outfit, but I would 100%. Yeah, if you'd be like, I want a cool, like predominantly black shoe and my feet to be comfortable, 3s all the way.
Yeah,
100%.
But I say that to say, as someone who still has the Bred Jordan 4s from 2019, I imagine you have absolutely no desire to even try for these.
Yeah, no, 100% not. 100% not. Not even in like a one to rock, one to stock type thing. It is just like
not even close. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
To your point about the leather, you know, about it looking shiny, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't because it's a mock-up, you know. I mean, you remember when as well as I do that, you know, you remember when the rumors of the Shattered Backboard 3 started coming out and you're like, awesome. And look at the mock-ups. They nailed it, you know, like, of course it's going to be good. And then you saw that leather that came out and you were like, how could they do this? How have you fumbled so bad? So my boy. So all that to say, you hear that these are going to be leather and you're like, okay, could work. Don't be so sure of yourself.
Because you're like, okay, black leather, they've done it tons of times, you know. I don't know. And like you said, it's a year out in advance. So, you know, who really knows? Honestly, my tinfoil hat to this is just Nike testing the waters.
For what?
Is this what they're going to do? Or are they like, hey, this is what we want? What does the internet say?
Oh, gotcha. You mean this leak and this mock-up getting out there? I thought you
Nike.
meant them making them making a leather Jordan 4 was them testing the waters, and I said for what? And you were like, Brian, if you have to be asking, we shouldn't be doing this podcast.
I don't think you're in.
They're testing the waters for what? You know what they're testing the waters for.
Feet, son.
But to that point about the materials, this was kind of like a thought that I wanted to explore with you a little bit here. So they've been doing this Reimagined thing for a little while now, for a couple of silhouettes now. But I feel like there's an interesting distinction and point to make between, if you look at the screen now, some of the ones on the left, the patent leather Bred Jordan 1, and now these proposed mock-ups of the leather Bred Jordan 4s versus the Reimagined Lost and Found Jordan 1s and the Reimagined White Cement 3s, where similar to the Shattered Backboard 3.0s, but not really because those aren't a retro in any way. They're doing this thing now when they retro where sometimes it's a whole different material on the same color blocking, and other times it's the same materials as the original, but in a pre-distressed or pre-aged way. In my opinion, the pre-distressed and pre-aged way, so far their track record is like 100 times better. You know?
Well, yeah, 100%.
You don't need to keep playing with materials on classics, I don't think.
No. And to me, it seems like it's more, if you're going with like effort, it seems to be just more lazy of like, let's just do the same shoe, but leather. Let's do the same shoe, but canvas. Yeah. Whereas, with the Lost and Founds, okay, you can create this whole story behind it. The 3s, again, it's a little bit more played. And I do think there's a lot more people who really like that pre-stressed look or that aged look, especially because that's also kind of a big thing in collecting sneakers is like, okay, so like you said, I've got the Bred 4s, but mine are from 2019. I've got the Black Cement 3s, but they're from 2018?
2018 or 2017, I don't remember, but yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those. So again, people may like, oh, Black Cement 3s. Okay, well, what year are they?
Right, exactly.
So then there's even sub levels. So like again, there is that appreciation of like, okay, you've been in the game for longer, or you bought an older pair, and typically older pairs are more valuable, or whatever it may be. So there is that within being into sneakers and the culture and things like that. So having Nike just being like, here's something brand new.
Here's cheat codes.
But it looks old.
Yeah.
Gives you that vibe of being like, you were around when collecting sneakers started.
You don't look like you were born in the 80s, but your feet say you were. Yeah.
But you're Jordan.
Is this
Chicago's
tinfoil hat? Is this Nike's way of trying to get minors into bars?
Oh, that's the fake ID.
Let me see your ID. No, look at the feet. Oh, how could he have those shoes unless he was alive at that time? Right this way, minor. And they escort them in to have a beverage.
Those Jordan 2s are crumbling.
He must be old enough to have a beverage. You heard it here first, folks. Groundbreaking news. Just like NFTs. It's NFT time. Not for talking. That's what NFT stands for. We're going to talk about the Artifact and Nike Air Force One collection. Buckle up, kids. We told you it was a Nike day today. A lot of Nike talk. This is a release they're doing, which if you're like me and you're very unknowledgeable on the whole world of crypto and NFTs, you're like, wait, I thought that we were doing the Air Force One collection on .swoosh. You are. This is separate. This is another thing that's we're doing it all at the same time. Whatever. So
suck it up.
There's a pack of 10 Air Force Ones that have released as NFTs, but then they're going to have from April 24th to May 8th what's called the Forging event, which is my favorite deleted scene from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The Forging event, where if you own one of the NFTs, you can go online and redeem it to get a physical made-to-order sneaker. I guess because they're not making them all because they need the NFT owners to tell them what size they are. Here's the that's why they've got to be made to order, I assume. And then I think I'd read it was then like a 6-month lead time. So, for fans of delayed gratification and possibly never wearing the sneakers you own, check this out. You're going to love this.
You're going to love it.
And the most interesting little quote I caught in this whole thing was that the event will only be live for a limited time and there will be no extra cost to forge, save for gas fees. What gas? What?
I don't know.
Is that shipping? Is that
Fossil
what we're calling
fuels?
shipping? Yeah, like to make them? Is there like a shoe engine with like a crank on it that you gotta start? And you just throw the material and it spits it out? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
if the Air Force ones are being made, what is the shoe in the forge making the Air Force ones? Like, what's the shoe that's forging these?
Oh, wow.
If you had to pick a shoe, that's the forge.
Like it's shoes that are making other shoes?
Yeah.
That's kind of like grim that, like that reminds me of, man, this is so bad. There was one, it was a Lay's commercial where Mr. Potato Head comes home to find Mrs. Potato Head eating Lay's chips in a closet. And I was like, that's kind of grim. That's kind of cannibalism casually.
Yeah. Well, that's how good they are.
Right. To avoid your question there entirely, allow me to sidetrack you with a Mr. Potato Head
to a mid-2000s Lay's ad. Yeah. And yes, we did get the check.
Only the latest news from Shoe Podcast. Lay's,
we got the check from both Lay's and Toy Story.
Yeah. If I had to choose shoes that would be making other shoes, I would vote for maybe the Notre Dunk Highs. Because those are the ones I put on any time I go outside with my little workman station. I do a little outdoor project and go, no, these are my workman shoes. They're made for working. They're a little working. What about you?
Tim's.
That's a more realistic answer. Yeah.
Yeah. The actual
Skechers is probably like the actual realistic answer, like what people are wearing in a factory. It's probably Skechers. I mean, what other shoe would be making other shoes?
It's the Skechers. What is it? The Roundup or whatever. That was like you. You're walking.
You're getting a workout while you're wearing it.
Yeah.
Vanessa, we got nothing but. Vanessa, if you're listening, can you animate us like a quick GIF, like a 6-frame GIF of like a Skechers shoe making other shoes? I have no further guidance than that, but just if you could throw that together, that would be great.
There you go. Yeah.
So moving on from this collection, probably the most notable two in here are two designs done in collaboration with Takashi Murakami, which is surprisingly, because like you knew it, but you didn't. His first collaboration with Nike. How, like, for him being as popular for as long as he's been popular, have they never done an official collaboration together?
Yeah. You want a hot take?
Please.
I don't get
Takashi Murakami.
I don't get it.
I was into him for a while in the same way that like I was into Cause for a while, which is essentially like if you're going to get into streetwear and sneakers and this whole culture, I feel like you kind of have to get on board.
They're the big names.
Right. They're the big names. You have to kind of get into that. And then after a while, you're like, you know what? He kind of does just draw X's on the eyes of the Sesame Street characters. And like, I don't know the deeper meaning of that,
It's like, it's cool. It looks cool.
It is cool. So, still, what side am I on?
Yeah.
I can't see the camera behind me. Got the little figures up there.
This
side?
I mean, they're like, I'm like, okay.
Got Murakami books in the living room, but yeah.
That was one of those things but I was like, yeah, the flower's pretty cool. And I was like, oh, he just does the flower with just different petals. Which I was like, technically that's flower, so good.
Yeah.
Good bag.
Good on him.
Drake and him, big fans.
But I've been saying a lot
brand
here.
Drake Murakami collab, new one. Check it.
Full circle.
You're first.
Full circle. You got it.
The trip.
Why don't you go ahead, walk us through the pricing?
Oh,
what's going on right now? This is like this is like real-time stock market. I need it right here. So all 10 sneakers, I'll set you up. Volleyball. All of the NFTs are now available on the secondhand market OpenSeas. And so, oh gosh, I'm so bad at this. I think they've already been purchased firsthand, which means that now if you want one, you are buying it secondhand from someone. So they're all 10 are on there, but each I can't even call them secrets. Each NFT is made in a different quantity. Some of them, a few thousand NFTs made. Some of them, the most rare one, only 60 of them made.
Of course, must have limited quantity. Yes, it is. So it does appear that it's almost like you said, like a stock market. Mm-hmm. So the more that get purchased of a shoe, the cheaper that it does become, which is interesting because there is a cap. So when you look on the open seas, it does have like a fluctuation similar to like a stock market. So it seems like if the collection, because I would imagine that after this event, if they made 1,168, because they made random numbers, which again, I don't understand why it's not a nice even number or like a rounded up number.
I don't.
That obviously, like you said, they're just not going to be available. Is what my understanding would be to create that value. From what it seems, the cheapest shoe that you can get, or for sure NFT, physical shoe will be maybe, but the cheapest NFT. Yeah, exactly. The cheapest NFT that you can grab is for $435. And again, that is a digital. You're buying a GIF. You purchased a GIF for $435. Is what you did.
But we could give you a little, not even piece of paper. I could pinky promise you own it. It's on the blockchain. It's in your wallet.
It's on the blockchain. That's also not secure because people have gotten things stolen. Sorry. All the way up to $11,450. And again, those prices are as of recording, which is April 12th. So those prices can and will fluctuate. So the most expensive shoe, which is I believe the Alien, which is odd because it is pretty ugly.
Yeah, I wish I had. If you're looking at the screen right now, it's the lime green one.
Yeah. First row, first one.
Yeah.
And that is the one that they only made 60 of. So it is the most limited of the shoes. Price. And one of Murakami's NFTs is also more expensive than others that have a more limited production. I'm assuming just because it's
the name.
So it is very, very interesting to see for that. And they do mention the reselling, basically. So they do mention that the shoe, when it gets the physical shoe that gets made, I'm assuming we'll have some type of reader.
It's an NFC tag or chip
in the shoe?
Of the shoe. Yeah.
There you go. And you could scan that, and it'll basically say that I am the original purchaser.
It's tied to the NFT
of this shoe.
Yeah.
And you can resell the shoe, but keep the NFT.
I think they're working on that. If I remember correctly.
They're working on that, okay.
When we talked about it yesterday, because I think that was a fun FAQ that I read, which was like, can I sell the sneaker but keep the NFT? And they were like, soon. Which
is interesting how you can't do that now. So
yeah,
I would imagine that is going to open up a crazy world of resale because you could essentially double dip.
Yeah.
Obviously purchasing the NFT, you are having a larger initial investment rather than being able to buy a shoe for $225 and sell it for $500. However, you can sell both a physical shoe and an NFT. If that is the case, I think the interesting thing for me to come out of this would be to see how the resale market on a physical shoe is with or without the NFT.
Like would
and then does the value decrease based on how many times that shoe is resold?
Traded hands?
because you are now further along the blockchain. Does that have a difference of being like, I'm not I'm like, the second guy? Is there a difference between being the second on the blockchain and the 2000th?
Yeah.
Like, is there? I would imagine the only difference is, are you or are you not the founder?
Yeah. Well, and can you sell? Like, where are you going to sell these sneakers with the NFT attached to it? Like, because StockX, I assume, is not set up to transfer an NFT from one user to another.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you'll do that.
Ooh, that'd be tough. Because then it's like, do you buy the physical shoe at the price of the physical shoe and the NFT, and just hope that the seller does send you the NFT, sell you the NFT?
Like,
or are you purchasing it on OpenSea and hoping that they send you the physical pair of shoes?
I don't understand the platform that's going to facilitate that transaction. Yeah, is this essentially it?
Maybe someone in Silicon Valley, while the banks are collapsing, they're figuring this out.
If you could reach out, leave a comment down below and let us know, how does this work? Because clearly we do not know.
100%.
The only thing I will say, which we talked about yesterday, that I find hilarious about all of this, and to me this is pretty much reassurance that this whole thing is not really for sneakerheads, is that I just love that in a world, I sound like a movie trailer, in a world, I love that in a world where people cannot get their hands on the sneakers they want, there's not enough supply to meet demand, whether the demand exceeds what they thought it was, or the brands are intentionally creating scarcity to drive up marketing and hype. Either way, in a world where there's not enough physical sneakers to meet demand, they said, what if you could digitally own the sneakers? And we went, that's great. That's awesome, because it's digital. There's no limit on how many there could be, right? And they went, no.
No.
They said, no. Because then how is it going to be hype and cool if everyone gets it? Obviously. It's just, I don't get. And so maybe I barely have the knowledge for us to do a whole episode on what is Dot Swoosh and Air Force One and what's going on there. If you're out there listening, I will honestly put this out there. If you're out there listening and you're involved in that program or feel highly qualified to speak on it, literally hit our DMs on Instagram at shoepodcast. We would love to have you on here to talk about it. That'd be a great episode for us, because we don't know a 100%. Lot about it. You could come preach the whole gospel of it. And as long as you don't say DM us to claim your prizes and this financial investor turned my life around in our comments, we'd probably be pretty down with it.
Yeah.
If that's your bag, hit us up.
And then really the thing I'm thinking of, kind of like you said, okay, you can do digital. So you can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you chose the Air Force One? Did you come up with the name first? Did you I get that. If you're Our Force One, we should do Air Force One.
Yeah.
It's pun. And I'm like, okay. But I'm like, you could do so. And then I'm like, okay, why 10?
Yeah.
Why 10? Why not have almost like the Dornbreaker, where you're just every shoe is either an artist, whoever, put Drake on there. He doesn't have to design the shoe. Just be this is Drake's shoe.
Yeah.
Or this is Travis Scott's shoe. Here's Cause. Why not just go down the list of every hype collab you've ever had, and then be bam, there's 1,000 of each, and each shoe is a hype collab. If you're more hype on this person, more hype on, to me, that's way more exciting than just being you want a lime green Air Force One?
Right.
I mean, the thing that no one would make on the customizer on your website
that would sit on the shelf at Foot Locker. Yeah.
Oh, but there's only 60 and it's NFT, and now all of a sudden it's worth almost $12,000.
Yeah.
That's a Camry.
That's Camry money right there.
That is Camry money. If you're buying that NFT, you better be pushing a Mercedes or something.
You better at least have a Camry.
I swear to bejesus, if I see someone with that Air Force One driving a Subaru, I'm losing my mind.
He's going to pull you over. Citizen's arrest.
Citizen's arrest. Just watch me behind you, just shaking my arm. You'll know what it means. And you better take those shoes off too.
All right. So last thing we'll say about that, for those of you who are listening on Spotify, we've gone ahead and put a poll in the episode description. Let us know, have you ever or would you ever buy a sneaker NFT? Going to be a simple yes or no down there. Go ahead and get your votes in. Very curious. I want to hear from the people on this one.
Me too.
But that being said, that's going to do it for our episode today. Thank you for sticking around with us for a bit here. We'll go ahead and real quick, we'll hit them on the way out. You can catch us online at shoepodcast.com. Get links to everything that we do, including things like our Instagram at shoepodcast. Go give us a follow. More reels than ever. TikTok at shoepodcast. Go also give us a follow. More TikToks than ever. YouTube, which presumably you're watching it right here, right now, but you know the link at shoepodcast. And lastly, if you want to support the show, patreon.com/shoepodcast. Greatly appreciate it. It helps offset the cost of this whole thing. Yeah, honestly, hop on the Instagram, the TikTok, and the YouTube shorts right now. We are the Skechers making shoes right now in the factory, but it's social clips. It's day after day in that meat grinder. But we're having fun.
I'll tell you what.
We're feeling young.
Look, I ain't got a horn, but I'm going to toot every single one of mine. Go watch the Big Bubble clip, reel, whatever it is. Your boy Landry put in some, I'm telling you, it is high level.
Put in the hours.
I guarantee you look at that, you're thinking a big brand made that. 100%. Not trying to fill my boy's head right now, but it's fantastic. I have shown that to so many people and be like, yo, my buddy made this in his spare time.
I had a little idea and I ran with it for a bit there. I wanted to incorporate it in the unboxing video, but it didn't quite happen. But we got the clip out of it. So thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that.
It comes across big production. So go ahead. If there's a clip to look at, it's the Big Bubble one.
There's one for you.
Boom.
All right. So I think that's going to do it for today. Tanner, you got anything you want to let the people know before we go here? YouTube retention. I could feel it just dropping off because we've already wrapped up. I just think that every time after we wrap everything up, I'm like, why would people stick around and watch it? But
and I got nothing for him. And I got nothing for him today.
That's life. Sometimes you don't.
Dust your ceiling fans.
You know what? Oh, there you go. That's a good one. I'll also make up for it. A teaser for next week. Check back. Tier list. Ooh. Tier list time. You know it's a good one.
What?
The people love that. He's dropping hints too, and you don't even know it right now. Tier list time. Come back next week. You'll see it. If you made it this far in the video, last thing I'm going to say, and then we're really going to close this. Please, please, please hit that subscribe button. And we love you. Thank you for being here. But hit the subscribe, hit the follow, whatever actually does really help a small little channel like ours. As always, This is Shoe Podcast. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry.
Co-host, Tanner Young.
Catch you all on the next one. My lady.